Handguns are supposed to be reliable. They're designed to work when everything else goes wrong. But right now, some of the most popular pistols on the market are turning into expensive regrets. I'm not guessing here. This is based on owner reports, recall history, warranty complaints, and documented failure patterns from gunsmiths and training communities. Today we're counting down 13 handguns you will regret buying. Let's get started. Number 13. Taurus G3C. Listen, I know the appeal. It's a sub-$300 carry gun with decent capacity and modern features. How bad could it be? Well, when quality control is a literal lottery, you're gambling with your life. The G3C has a persistent problem that Taurus has never fully addressed: inconsistent feed ramp machining. Some guns come from the factory with rough machining marks on the feed ramp that cause hollow point ammunition to nosedive and jam. You buy a defensive pistol to run defensive ammo, and this gun chokes on it. Beyond that, the finish corrodes faster than competitors. Owners report surface rust developing within weeks of carry, even with minimal exposure to sweat. Taurus settled a massive class action lawsuit over drop safety failures in their older pistols. While the G3C is technically a new generation, the company's repair or replace warranty model tells you everything. The fact that you statistically need warranty service more often than with a Ruger or Smith & Wesson is unacceptable. Bottom line, this is a quality-controlled gamble, and your life shouldn't be the stakes. Number 12. SCCY CPX2 Gen 3. SCCY markets it as an affordable American-made carry gun. What they don't advertise is a trigger from hell. This double-action only trigger regularly exceeds 9 pounds of pull weight with a long, gritty travel that stacks before the break. For a new shooter or anyone under stress, this trigger guarantees missed shots. But the trigger isn't the only problem. The lightweight polymer frame combined with a high-bore axis creates violent muzzle flip that makes follow-up shots nearly impossible. Owners consistently report stovepipe malfunctions and failures to extract. The gun is physically unpleasant to shoot, which means people don't practice with it. And a gun you won't practice with is a gun that will fail you when it matters. The initial savings vanish when you factor in the ammunition needed just to verify reliability and the training time required to overcome that atrocious trigger. This isn't a bargain. It's a false economy that could cost you everything. Number 11. Hi-Point YC9 Yeet Cannon. The Hi-Point YC9, also known as the Yeet Cannon, is the internet's favorite meme gun. It's also a technologically obsolete brick. While Hi-Point firearms have a reputation for functioning despite abuse, the YC9 uses a straight blowback action that requires a massive zinc alloy slide to contain the pressure of a 9mm round. The result is a pistol that weighs 34 ounces loaded, heavier than many full-size duty guns that hold twice the ammunition. The ergonomics are crude at best, resembling a power drill more than a defensive tool. The new double-stack magazines offer 10 rounds, but users report feeding issues during the transition to the new magazine geometry. The sights often require fitting, and the trigger is a spongy disappointment. In a survival scenario, weight discipline matters. Carrying a 34-ounce handgun with limited capacity and poor ergonomics is an inefficient use of your load-bearing capability. The YC9 is robust, but its bulk and weight make it unsuitable for actual carry, relegating it to truck gun status at best. Number 10. Kel-Tec P15. Kel-Tec promised the thinnest double-stack 9mm on the market, and they delivered. What they also delivered was a pistol that rusts in its own factory case. Multiple owners report that the slide and barrel are highly susceptible to corrosion, even when stored in the provided soft case, which apparently traps moisture. For a deep concealment pistol that will be exposed to body sweat, this is a catastrophic material failure. The problems don't stop there. The magazine geometry causes rounds to nosedive into the front of the magazine body, creating hard stoppages that are difficult to clear under stress. The extreme lightness of the pistol, at just 14 ounces, results in violent recoil that makes the gun painful to shoot for extended sessions. Innovation means nothing when execution fails. A carry gun must withstand the elements, and the P-15's propensity to rust compromises its long-term viability. When your defensive pistol develops corrosion faster than your tools, you've got a serious problem. Number 9. Gerson MC-14T Tip-Up. This handgun uses a tip-up barrel design intended to help shooters with weak hand strength avoid racking the slide. Noble concept, terrible execution. Here's the paradox. Because this pistol uses a blowback action, the recoil spring must be exceptionally stiff to contain 380 ACP pressure. Loading is easy via the tip-up barrel, but clearing a malfunction requires racking that incredibly stiff slide. The user demographic that needs a tip-up barrel, people with weak hands, can't physically clear the jams this gun is prone to causing. The pistol is also physically large for its caliber, weighing nearly as much as a compact 9mm while delivering inferior ballistics. Reliability testing shows sensitivity to ammunition pressure, with failures to cycle standard defensive loads. The tip-up mechanism adds complexity and multiple points of failure to solve a problem that guns like the Smith & Wesson Shield EZ solve better without compromising safety. This is a specialized tool that fails its specialty. Number 8. CAR CW380. CAR officially mandates a 200-round break-in period before their CW380 is considered reliable. Let me rephrase this again. You have to spend over $100 in ammunition just to verify basic function on a gun that should work out of the box. Competitors like the SIG P365 and Glock 42 function reliably from round 1. Even after the break-in, owners frequently report failures to return to battery, where the slide stops just short of closing and requires a manual push. The recoil spring is extremely stiff, and the pistol is intolerant of any grip technique issues. Right now, requiring extensive ammunition expenditure and perfect shooting form just to achieve baseline reliability is anachronistic. A defensive firearm must work immediately and consistently. The CW380's finicky nature and requirement for specific ammunition make it too high maintenance for serious carry use. Number 7. Glock 44. Hey, quick favor. If this video is saving you from a bad purchase, hit like and subscribe. It helps more than you think. Now, this Glock model was supposed to be the ultimate rimfire trainer, mirroring the Glock 19's dimensions for practice. To achieve reliability with the weak .22 LR cartridge, Glock used a hybrid slide composed of polymer and steel. That design choice became a structural weak point. Reports of cracked slides continue to surface, particularly around the ejection port and rear sight dovetail. While Glock attributes this to user error or high-velocity ammunition, the sheer volume of reports suggests a material deficiency in the polymer-steel bonding. Beyond structural concerns, the G44 is notoriously ammunition-sensitive, often failing to cycle the bulk pack .22 LR that survivalists would likely stockpile. While .22 LR is excellent for small game hunting in survival scenarios, the G44's fragility disqualifies it. A cracked slide in the field renders the weapon completely useless. Most robust options like the Ruger Mark IV or Taurus TX22 offer superior durability without the structural risks. Number 6. Kimber Micro 9. Micro 9 is marketed as a premium jewelry-grade firearm. It commands a high price point and promises 1911-style craftsmanship in a pocket-sized package. In reality, it's one of the most unreliable modern handguns you can buy. The primary failure mode is failure to eject, where spent casings aren't fully extracted, causing double feed jams. This is attributed to poorly tuned extractors and rough chambers in Kimber's mass production process. Unlike a hand-fitted 1911, the Micro 9 lacks the tolerances to run reliably without expert gunsmithing. What makes this worse is the stainless finishes are prone to surface rust, a shocking defect for a premium product. You're paying luxury prices for reliability that doesn't match budget offerings from Ruger or Smith & Wesson. In a defensive encounter, reliability is the only currency that matters. The Micro 9 is an overpriced status symbol that fails as a tool when you need it most. Number 5. Diamondback DB9 Gen 4. The DB9 Gen 4 pushes the physics of the 9mm cartridge to the breaking point. Weighing less than 14 ounces, it lacks the mass necessary to absorb recoil energy, transferring it directly to the shooter and the frame. To achieve its weight, Diamondback sacrificed structural integrity. Long-term reviews indicate the polymer frame is susceptible to cracking under the stress of high-pressure defensive loads. The recoil impulse is described as violent, often causing slide bite or bruising to the shooter's hand after minimal use. Reliability is entirely dependent on a rigid grip. Any relaxation results in limp wrist failures. A gun that hurts to shoot is a gun that won't be practiced with. A gun that cracks its own frame under normal use is a ticking time bomb. The DB9 is technically functional, but it's practically hazardous. In a defensive situation, you need a tool you can trust, not one that might injure you or structurally fail at the worst possible moment. Number 4. Heritage Rough Rider. Rough Rider is the cheapest single-action revolver on the market. It achieves that price point through extensive use of Zamac, a zinc alloy, in critical components. This cost-cutting creates serious safety hazards. The Rough Rider features a manual safety lever next to the hammer, unusual for single-action revolvers. This lever blocks the hammer from the firing pin. However, reports indicate this lever is prone to breakage or wear, potentially allowing the hammer to strike the pin even when the safety appears engaged. The cylinder timing often slips due to soft Zamac pawls, leading to lead shaving, where bullets strike the forcing cone off-center and spray lead fragments laterally, a severe hazard to the shooter and bystanders. While cheap, the Rough Rider's reliance on soft metals means it won't survive long-term field use. The risk of lead shaving and safety failure make it a dangerous choice for any serious application. Number 3. Sig Sauer P320. Placing a flagship firearm in this tier is a significant assertion, but the data surrounding the SIG P320 compels this classification. Despite its adoption by the U.S. military, the civilian P320 faces ongoing litigation regarding uncommanded discharges, guns firing without the trigger being pulled. A jury recently awarded $2.35 million to a victim of a P320 discharge. Major agencies, including ICE and the U.S. Air Force Global Strike Command, have paused or banned the platform due to safety concerns. The controversy centers on internal striker safety geometry and the potential for inertial discharges or sear slippage. While Sig Sauer defends the design, the volume of incidents involving trained professionals creates an unacceptable risk profile. In a survival scenario, an accidental wound is a death sentence. The P320 carries unique financial and physical risks. The potential for drop fire or uncommanded discharge, combined with the legal stigma now attached to the platform, make it a high-risk choice compared to proven alternatives from Glock, HK, or Walter. Number 2. Standard manufacturing switch gun. The switch gun is a folding revolver that deploys via spring-loaded switchblade action. This mechanism creates weak points in frame rigidity and introduces critical safety flaws. Users report the cylinder timing is frequently off, causing the revolver to shave lead violently upon firing. The sights are effectively non-existent gutters buried in the frame. Deployment under stress requires fine motor skills that evaporate in high-stress situations. Failing to lock the grip in place turns a weapon into a dangerous, uncontrolled explosive device in your hand. The trigger is heavy and inconsistent, rendering accuracy impossible beyond contact distance. The switch gun is a gimmick that introduces multiple points of failure, the folding hinge, timing issues, to solve a concealment problem that other guns handle better without compromising safety. This isn't innovation. It's a dangerous novelty that puts the user at risk. Number 1. Altor 9mm. This Altor holds the title of the worst handgun to buy right now. It's a single-shot polymer frame tube that looks like a garden hose nozzle and functions even worse. The design is inherently dangerous from the moment you try to load it. To load the Altor, you must unscrew the barrel, place a cartridge into the breech face, and screw the barrel back on. During this process, the firing pin protrudes from the breech face. As you screw the barrel down, the primer of the live round is pressed directly against the firing pin. If you slip, the gun can discharge during loading, likely into your hand. Firing requires a release trigger. Pull back and let go. The recoil of a 9mm round in a 10-ounce straight tube is violent and uncontrollable. Reloading takes 30 seconds. In a defensive situation, you have one shot, poor sights, and a gun that might detonate in your hand during the loading process. The Altor 9mm is slower than a musket, more dangerous to load than a pipe bomb, and less ergonomic than a stapler. It serves no practical purpose in any defensive or survival arsenal. This is the ultimate liability trap. So there you have it, 13 handguns that should stay on the shelf. The market offers high-quality, reliable firearms at every price point. There's no rational justification for buying these platforms when proven alternatives from Glock, Smith & Wesson, Ruger, or SIG exist. For the budget-conscious, a used gun from a reputable manufacturer offers infinitely more value and safety than a new problematic pistol. Which handgun would you never trust? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, hit subscribe to All About Survival. We're breaking down more gear you shouldn't waste your money on.